In this lesson, we will be improving our controller by adding easing to our animations. So let's get started. Open controller transform script. And let's add public animation curve variable with the name animCurve, which equals new animation curve with the default keyframes first at the time 0 and a value 0, and second at the time 1 and value 1. Later we can change these values inside the inspector, but don't forget that always the first keyframe needs to be at time 0 and the last one at time 1. Next, we need to create public float value to curve method with the float parameter and the name myFloat. And inside, let's create float curve result equals animCurve.evaluate with the myFloat parameter. We know that myFloat is always between 0 and 1 because it is a result from our driver, and also our animation curve is always between 0 and 1. So with the evaluation, we will get value from curve from myFloat variable. Now we just need to fix our from and to remapping, but that's easy. We can use mathf.lerp as we used in last lesson with the parameters from, to, and curve result. Let's change the color. Now to finish it, we just need to change our setValues method. So let's swap our old lerp function with the new value from curve method with the result as parameter. Save the file and test it. Let's select star buttons game object, which is our canvas. Let's add UI panel. Let's change dimensions to be roughly on the left edge. And add component vertical layout group. Select StarBG game object and create a duplicate and drop it under our new panel. Open it, select star image and change the fill amount to 1. Select the parent again and create 2 more duplicates. And to finish our test scene, select our StarBG again and deactivate it. Now create new game object, rename it to star01, and let's add first driver component, change duration to 1, loop count to 2 with the loop type of ping pong and auto repeat on, and also auto start on. Next, let's add our controller transform component. Change anim type to rect position. Drag and drop starbg1 to my transform variable. And change 2 to 700. Press play. And we see the animation is working, but in wrong axis. So let's change in axis Y and Z to 0. So we will be animating only X axis. Press play. Now we see animation is working how we want. So let's duplicate our star01 game object 2 times and rename it to star02 and star03. Select star02 and drag and drop starbg2 to my transform variable, and also select star03 and drag and drop starbg3 to my transform variable. Now we can test different animation curves to see differences. First, select star01 game object and double-click on animation curve variable. Let's create a straight line without easing. I am using my presets, but you can create your own and use them. Let's select star02 and again double-click on animCurve. This time let's use ease in and ease out curve. And to finish, let's select star03, double-click to animCurve, and let's use a curve, which at the end is going above 1 value. Press play. And we see our easing is working nicely, but there is something wrong with the last one because it is stopping at the end. So let's fix it. Let's open controller transform script. And the problem is inside the lerp function, because last time we learned that the value which is driving the lerp needs to be between 0 and 1 always. And if you remember, our animation curve on *3 is higher at the end of animation than 1. So lerp is clamping higher value to 1 basically. But luckily there is an easy fix. We can use lerp unclamp instead, which will fix our problem. So let's save it and test it. Press play. Now we see our third animation is fixed and everything works. So that's it. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.